The tab editor in Whisper allows you to configure each of the tabs on the left-hand side. This is the main area where you get to navigate objects and functionality within Whisper. Today we'll look at the tab editor and how we can configure each tab to specify the types of objects we see them and also configure how those objects are displayed. So by default, your repository will come configured with a couple of default tabs. This area I've actually already added a couple of new ones. So I'm just going to go into the tab editor, which is located underneath the admin menu. Tab editor has a couple of main areas here. We can see down the left-hand side, these are the tabs that we have across the top of our application. Note that the order on the left-hand side here from top down is the left of right in your left-hand tab view. This left-hand area can be reordered just by simply dragging and dropping. So if I wanted my box tab to actually be first, we can actually click and drag our boxes up to be first. So this order does matter for your left to right view. Let's take a quick look at where we've changed our objects to the second and our boxes to first. So we can see box tab is now first and objects are second. Go back into the tab editor and keep going through some of the options here. I'm going to put my objects one back first here. So we've selected the objects tab here. We've got a list of properties and configuration we can do for this tab. Display name is the name that appears in the tab next to the icon. So objects, so if I actually wanted to change the name of this tab to say all objects, we could do that. Note that the changes you make here are automatically saved. As you make changes, it will automatically update. So we changed the display name to all objects here. Let's actually select a new icon. So I've got my Western IM icon here. We might want to change the icon to something different. So we can scroll through the available icons here and say we wanted to make it to the bubble. You can see we've changed the icon here. The image search just allows you to do a quick search within these icons. They are named appropriately. So here, if I wanted to say I want a user icon, so I'll type in user and it'll filter down to the user icons. Maybe we'll select a couple of people here. And this is just going to be a new icon for all objects. Let's take a quick look at what that looks like before we move on. I'll close the tab editor. When closing the tab editor, you automatically reconnect to your repository, which resets your or reloads your configuration. So the changes you make in the tab editor will automatically load for you. So you can see all objects has now got the new icon and the new name. Let's move down the list of available options in the tab editor. I'm actually going to move over to the box tab to view the next couple of properties. The next one here is filter. Now this is the API call that's happening behind the scenes. So this is a little bit of a technical thing that has to be written. There's available documentation on this as well. We won't go into how to write these, but I'll just kind of briefly go over this, what I have for my boxes. And basically what I've said for my call to the server is I want all the objects that are not deleted and are of type box. So we're only going to see boxes in this tab. So I'll go back to my tab just to view what this looks like compared to my objects tab, where my objects tab is just the non-deleted objects. So object tabs here, I can see I've got my emails and primaries, secondaries, volumes, everything's here. But on my box tab, I've specified I just wanted to see the boxes. We'll go back into the tab editor and keep moving down the list of options here. Hierarchical view is a special view that will actually circle back to this one, as is a different way we can show objects in relationships. Just a couple of technical ones at the bottom here. Apply filter. The basic filter bar across the top doesn't apply to this tab. You can specify tabs that don't use the filter so that you can't change what you're seeing in those tabs from the top filters. Show panel. Currently there's only one available panel out of the box. This is just a top panel that goes across the top of a tab to give you more options. So let's look at our classification tab here, and we actually use our classification panel on this as well. I'll hop to my classification tab to show what that looks like. In my classification tab here, we can see we got a new panel across the top that's different. And this just allows you to do some more specific filtering as it pertains to classifications and retention schedules and when items have met their projected dates within the system. Go back into the tab editor. The API call, basically the difference here is that a user configured tab will always be an objects API, and anything that's a system tab like our capture tab, our duplicates, our documentum integrations, those kinds of things are considered system tabs, and they'll become pre-configured. Majority of your user configured ones will actually be object API. And the last is just enabled. Do we want to turn these on or off? You can see here I've got a tab called box structure that is not enabled, and in my left-hand view I do not see that that tab. It would be between box and volumes. So I've just basically turned it off. Just a quick note here, our default view on each of these tabs is as we expand here, we can see all of the objects that it's related to. This is useful in kind of seeing everything. As you expand the boxes, you can see that there's volumes in it that's related to a primary and secondary. But in a lot of cases, we do want a hierarchical view. The hierarchical view allows you to specify what types you see at each level. So as you expand, for example, if we expand a box, we only want to see the volumes in the box. We don't want to see everything that it's related to. I've got a primary tab here set up, and we'll actually look at the settings for this. Go into the tab editor, and let's look at our primary. So this I have actually enabled the hierarchical view. And I basically said here in a hierarchical structure, I want to see primaries and my secondaries, and then I want to see boxes and folders and volumes and files. This just allows you to build your own structure and how you want to see things and how you want to navigate to drill down to the content you're looking for. In this case, I always want to start at primaries, and then I want to see the secondaries, and then I want to see the boxes without seeing all the related objects. So got this checked. Let's go to our primary tab and see what that looks like. So on our primary tab here, I've specified that I wanted to see primaries, and then I want to see secondaries, and then I want to see boxes and folders, and then I want to see volumes and files. So in contrast to the default view, where as I expand, I see the groupings of object types that it's related to. This one I specify what I see as I drill down. I always want to see primaries, and then I want to see secondaries, and then I want to see the content that's in those secondaries. I just want to see the boxes and folders. These are electronic folders, and this is a physical box. Just a last jump back into the tab editor. Here we're working through some existing tabs that I have. At any time you can create a new tab by the plus button in the bottom left. And that's just going to add a new tab here. So let's quickly bring everything together that we've done here and create ourselves a new tab. So I've got a new tab here. I'm going to rename it from new tab to Troy's tab. Troy's tab. And we're going to pick a new icon here. Let's scroll down here. Me in a tie. And I'm going to put a filter. Again, this is the API calls. We won't touch on how to write these, but I'm just going to say I want to see, let's say, my emails. Let's go type. I want to see my emails. I think it's called just email. We're not going to do hierarchical view. We're just going to do a regular view for now. We'll come back and add a hierarchical view. And I don't want to show a panel as well, so we're going to keep the object here. So I think that's it. So we'll go back here. And at the end of my tabs here, I should have Troy's tab, and we can see that I've specified the email type. Now, these emails I have related to a company in some cases. So here I've got Whisper. I created a company called Whisper. When we synced in these emails, I can see that the Whisper is related to company. I'm going to flip this around. So now that I see that I've got all my emails here, this isn't very useful for me. I actually want to organize it by company, and then I want to see the emails associated with that company. Let's go back into my tab editor here. I'm going to go to Troy's tab. And we're not going to start with emails. We're going to start with the company. And then I want a hierarchical view. I don't want to see everything related to those companies. I want to see company. And then I want to see the emails associated with that company. So I can have any number of levels here. For this one, we're only going to have 2 levels. Let's take a look what that looks like. So now we're just seeing departments. Our companies, I only had 3 companies in here. If I expand my Whisper one, I can see all the emails associated with it. Again, we can't expand the emails because we specified just companies and then emails. That wraps it up for the tab editor. Again, just to note that some of these tabs will come out of the box depending on your Whisper configuration. Some of them will be system ones like our camera capture, but majority of the time we'll be editing or adding or changing the views within existing tabs or new tabs that we create.